I really envision the most electric atmosphere in college football and the best setting for college football. I know it's going to be an electric atmosphere.
We're looking live at the brand new Husky Stadium, the most beautiful, most high-tech college football stadium in the land. Tonight, the Dogs getting set for a homecoming. Tonight is the night that we finally retake Montlake. Hello, everyone. I'm coming forward Mike Ferrer along with Jordan Reffett, the former defensive tackle for your University of Washington Huskies. And Jordan, we're ready to get this thing open and going, aren't we?
Oh, I tell you what, the excitement is in the air, isn't it, Mike? I mean, this is a huge day, huge debut for the stadium, huge debut for the Dogs.
Let's take a look at the last time we actually saw a game here on Montlake. The date was November 5th, 2011. The Huskies taking on all those pesky Oregon Ducks in what will be the final game played in Old Husky Stadium in need of a major facelift at that time. The record books show that on this fall day, the Huskies fell to Oregon 34-17. Only weeks later, the walls came tumbling down. This grand old stadium, it was first opened, if you believe it or not, back in 1920. It underwent many minor and major renovations, but nothing like what was about to take place. Tonight, we are not only counting down to kickoff, but we're going to preview the Huskies, look at their opponents, and we're going to hear from some current Dogs as well as former Huskies and people important to this program. But first, more about this beautiful new stadium. As you look around the new digs, we'll tell you it did take less than 2 years to complete this mammoth project. Hundreds of workers helped tear it down and then rebuild that new stadium. Tonight, we're going to show you the entire stadium, from the gorgeous new premium seating areas to the really cool student seating in the end zone that takes up the entire west end. The gates opened about a half hour ago, and by kickoff, there will be more than 72,000 rabid Dog fans ready to cheer for their Huskies. So we want to welcome the third member of our broadcast crew tonight, Erin Majewski, a former University of Washington soccer player and also part-time movie star when she wants to be.
Yes.
Erin, this place is amazing, and you got a first-hand look at a lot of things.
Yeah, and it's been quite some time since I've been here, and you know, an ACL injury, we all know about those. That kind of cut my time short, but I stayed in the program and stayed with it right now, a part of the big W Club and on the board there. Talking to some of those people today, they're so excited about this stadium, some of those former student athletes, some of the fans. If you guys can believe it, 360 architects to get this thing going. It's absolutely gorgeous on the outside, and I had a chance earlier to check it out. That's what I'm talking about, an absolutely gorgeous new student section. And all you have to do is follow these gold stripes. It's the new Path of the Pack right to the west end zone for the Dog Pack entrance for the students as they pour in on game day. And check this out. Remember this special dog? Yeah, they moved the Husky statue from Hecked Plaza to right here so the students can create their own new game day tradition by petting the Husky dog for good luck as they walk into the stadium. And get this, here's a plus. Tickets for students this season cost less than they did at the old stadium. All right, guys, it's pretty cool out there. You got to see a lot of other stuff, too. You know, there used to be only 2 elevators here. There's now 8, and there are 20% more bathrooms, and they favor stalls for the women. So that's kind of an interesting little tidbit piece of information there.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is so important.
Great nugget for us.
Keep everybody happy. Lots of food choices here. The whole digital experience is insane. I mean, how many TVs?
It's amazing. There's a lot to see, and don't forget, we will be covering the luxury suites, the touchdown terrace, and all that stuff that we have coming back at you. We got to look at this stadium early this week, and it's just phenomenal. There's so much here to show you besides the game day action.
And now we're also going to focus on the product on the field. Steve Sarkisian, again, 7-6 last season. Jordan, what's going through his mind as he gets his team ready for another season here in Washington?
Well, I think there's a lot of things going through his mind. I think that one of the things is that you have the talent. You have the fifth-year senior quarterback now. It's time for him to take the reins and move this Husky football team into the upper echelon of the Pac-12, maybe compete for the Pac-12 North Championship, to unseat those darn guys down in Eugene and win some big football games and get to that 8, 9, 10 win games, what they need to do.
The Ducks had a really hard time today against Nicholls State.
That was tough.
They really struggled putting up 59 points last time I checked. Well, the only way to really find out what Steve Sarkisian is thinking is to ask the head coach. I sat down and had a conversation with Coach Sark. I guess, Coach, anybody that goes through a home build can't wait to get into the new place. What has the past year been like for you, a year plus, to sit on that one field and practice and then see this new place come to fruition?
It was actually pretty amazing, you know, to watch it get torn down and then to watch this beautiful building get rebuilt and then to finally now being moved in. It's been a real humbling experience, quite honestly, to think that we get to be the first team and coaches to work in this stadium and to put our product on the field. It's been very humbling, but what an exciting time to watch it all go through, watch all the hard work that everybody put into this. We're all just extremely excited and humbled to be part of it.
Do you have you been in here long enough to have a favorite part? Or is it just everything?
You know, my favorite part is kind of one of the more unassuming pieces to it. It's when you get on the elevator and you go down to the ground floor, which is what we refer to as the engine room for our players. And there's almost like a steel chain-linked backdrop of purple there. And it says, "This is Husky football." And I think it really embodies all of the characteristics that this program has stood for many, many decades of the tough, hard-nosed mentality. I kind of enjoy that because it's the start of my day. Like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. Let's get to work.
The tunnel is still part of the Huskies game day experience, but you're not going to share it with another team. Is that something that you used to like? Is it something you think you might miss?
Well, when I was an opponent as a player, I hated it. But that's our tunnel, and we cherish it. There's so many great memories and historical moments from teams and players and coaches that we want to make sure that that's unique to us and we keep it ours. It is still something that one of the key moments that I look forward to on game day. I'm getting some goosebumps right now just thinking about that first time coming out of the tunnel because it's a special place in Husky football.
Speaking of which, you have Boise State coming in. Amazingly enough, you start the season the way you ended it against a team you faced in the Las Vegas Bowl. I guess, how do you get ready for them in this new place? And do you funnel a lot of the excitement of just being here, but also that there's the game to play against someone that beat you guys?
Well, we know they're a good opponent, and we know they're a team that is very well coached. They've got talent on both sides of the football. They'll be ready to play. I think one of the keys for us in this game is remain focused on the task at hand, and that's the ball game. There's going to be so much hoopla, so much going on around us. What's going to be key for us is focusing on what's right in front of us, and that's preparing for Boise, executing really well, and playing a four-quarter football game because that's what it's going to take to win.
New style of offense. I know when I would take the SAT, my dad would always tell me when you went, he goes, your first answer is the right one, the gut answer. And is the hurry up and the fast moving offense kind of that instinctual way for you and Keith to go ahead and just get it?
Exactly right. We're really trying to reduce the paralysis by analysis analogy in a sense that we're going with what we believe in and on our preparation throughout the week and not getting caught up and trying to overanalyze the what ifs of what's going on and just playing to the best of our capabilities, calling the best play that I think for that split moment, and then going out and executing that play from the quarterback position, the offensive line, the running backs, the receivers. And it's been great. I think it's really, it's paid dividends for us throughout training camp. Not only has it helped our offense, it's helped our defense and their preparations for so much of the no huddle that we're going to see this year. And I think it's really been a win-win for our program.
All right, Coach, one final question before we send you off to get ready for Boise State. There's so much new technology in this stadium, and we're this tech city as we are here in Seattle. And the one big thing I've heard, I guess, is that a recruit can come to your office over there and grab a controller and play Xbox on the gigantic video screen. Is that true?
That is true. I just warn them, don't let me beat you or you never hear the end of it.
Are you good at that?
I used to be good at it. I get to our current players on our roster and try to get some of the secrets because all those games have little secrets. And so I might set the game up before the recruit comes in and maybe get a few extra bonus plays in there for me.
If you need anybody to practice against, I'll come because I'm really bad.
You got it. Build my confidence, right?
There you go. Build it up. Why not? Why not? And welcome back as we get set to kick off here the game against Boise State and the University of Washington in the brand new, if we will, if we can say that, I guess, Husky Stadium. And this is one of those places that will stand out for opponents, everyone alike. And I think one amazing thing that they kept is the tunnel.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
When you look about the tunnel, there's so many unique factors to the stadium, but that stay there doesn't look the same because you have to go up the track and go up. But what type of experience was that?
There's pieces of the tunnel, and I remember like it was yesterday, going down to the tunnel earlier today, checking out the old bowl pictures on the wall, and it's got the same feeling, the same smell that when I played and guys before me and all the guys that we stood on to get where we were at when I played. And I think the big thing is that this has really acquired national media, national football lovers from all over the country, and they love this sailgating. The Husky Stadium is one of the biggest things happening right now in college football.
Aaron, and I know the time that you've been in here, I don't know if people can really get a grasp on how much work it took to make this place like it is, to maybe hold on to some of the old attributes of the old Husky Stadium, but still make this state of the art.
Yeah, and I think what they did, Mike, is they did and took a lot of modern technology and a modern kind of try to modernize this old classic stadium. And when you get in and you look at it, you do see that it looks very similar to what it was, but they've improved so much. And just to think that 360 architects had to wrap their brains around this stadium and to try and make it hold strong, to keep this in the same, this in the tunnel. There's a lot of work and thinking that went into that, and some of the stuff that we saw this week was just amazing. We're going to preview that, and obviously the luxury suites, the touchdown terrace, the outdoor patio seating is absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
And the UW always does it right?
Yeah, no, I love it. It's
Once
awesome.
a dog, they're in it forever,
That's
and they
right.
just get things right here.
So
Great
many
stuff.
options now for fans. We can sit high, you can sit in a suite, you name it. Hey, we're going to take a quick time out. We come back, we'll preview this beautiful stadium more by the lake. Husky Stadium may never have been built if not for one man, Gil Doby. Gloomy Gil coached the UW football team from 1908 to 1916 and never lost a game. By the end of his run, the old stadium at Denny Field was overflowing with passionate fans, and the idea of a new stadium was born. Hey, welcome back here to Montlake Husky Stadium, the brand new Husky Stadium. So why did they rebuild or build Husky Stadium again? It's because there were so many things they wanted to improve: restrooms, elevators, concessions, you name it. But the bottom line is the place was too old and they had to make a new one. November 5th, 2011, the Huskies charged from their famed tunnel entrance.
The great moments of history that have taken place in Husky Stadium will never be forgotten.
And this one is for the record books. You see, it's the final game on a field dating back to the 1920 opening of the original stadium.
From the practical perspective, the stadium was in dire need of some physical improvement. It was becoming almost to the point of a life safety issue.
After 91 storied years, Saturday's Shrine was showing her age and was in serious need of some major upgrades. So the grand old lady had to come down.
When we decided to make a move, we knew this was highly important to the community, and that it was more than just a location or a building. It was an emotional connection to the community.
It's summer 2013 and construction is wrapping up. Much has changed, but the team charged with rebuilding a football icon made sure that the new stadium kept that same Husky spirit.
Well, I think a lot of us on the project are lifelong Huskies, and we knew sort of the essence of the experience. We protected the view to the lake. The new south upper deck is very much representative architecturally of the previous one.
The new selections include 10 elevators, where there used to be only 2, plus luxury suites, restaurants, and plenty of new restrooms. All this is directly aimed at those who will fill the seats in this stadium. It's the fan experience.
I really envisioned the most electric atmosphere in college football and the best setting for college football. I know it's going to be an electric atmosphere.
And you can start to kind of feel the anticipation coming to a crescendo here as we move towards kickoff. And you know, so many people, we were down there earlier, coming into the new stadium, they were lining up for pictures. Everybody, you know, the way we have phones these days, take a picture everywhere, but people just lining up, remembering this first day. It's a special day for a lot of people. Both of you guys, Jordan, what was your first experience here at Husky Stadium?
Well, you know, it's vivid, like entrenched in my memory, where about 20 years ago, going with my grandpa, riding the bus over 520 over to Montlake, watching the Husky game with my grandpa, and that was one of the first memories of Husky Stadium.
Yeah, I think mine too. About 30 years ago, No, I'm not that old. About 30 years ago, my great-grandpa, my grandpa, and my dad, we rode here, and he still has the same tickets on the 30-yard line.
That is awesome.
There's one pretty cool thing about the 70,000 people that'll be here. They all have different seats, and some seats are maybe cooler than others. They're all pretty good seats, but you're going to show us some top of the line seats, aren't you?
Oh yeah, we got a look, and it was great. We got to see just top-notch quality work from those luxury seatings, and we're going to keep teasing it, the patio suites, the touchdown terrace, and all of that, but you'll get to see it, and you'll be able to see the different kind of price range and what you can get here at the stadium. Something for everyone.
The touchdown terrace is really cool. You go along, we'll throw it to you.
That's great.
And we'll also give you a peek behind the scenes into the high-tech world that will power one of the largest video operations in all of sports, including that huge screen in the end zone that some hope will make a great place to play video games. Back with more on the Husky pregame show. We are retaking Montlake tonight. In 1920, a new facility rose from the dirt in Seattle. Husky Stadium was originally called Washington Field, and it lasted 91 years and 3 major expansions. The cost of the original stadium, $600,000. A lot of money in 1920, but only pocket change compared to $250 million for the new Husky Stadium. And welcome back to the Husky pregame show. And Jordan, we're in the west end of the stadium. Football offices below us is the new Husky locker room, and this is their first game. They've been talking about this game for about 4 weeks now. They have a bad taste in their mouth after losing to Boise State in the Las Vegas Bowl. What is going through their minds right now as a player? What would you think is going through their minds?
Well, the first thing going through their minds is know your assignment, know what you're supposed to do, play hard, but you got to have that anxiety, that feeling of all your work, all your hard work that you put in throughout the summer, throughout the whole fall camp. It's time to now payday. We used to call it payday. Payday is game day. That's when it's time to go out there and show out, show what you've done, show the hard work you put in, and I think these boys are ready. It's time to get that bad taste out of their mouth from that Vegas Bowl.
I'm talking to some of the guys on Monday. They just can't wait to go out there and just fly around, hit somebody else besides their teammates. It'll be pretty cool to watch how the Huskies do. And their offense, new little bit of a wrinkle this year to the offense. They have some new plays and a new way of doing things. Here's a look at what Steve Sarkisian has planned for his offensive unit.
First down and then some. Breaking away, Stanky. He is gone. Are you kidding me?
There's a new wrinkle in the Husky offense this season, an up-tempo, no-huddle scheme that's designed to keep opposing defenses on their heels.
This is an explosive group.
Coach Steve Sarkisian says the no-huddle is meant to keep him and quarterback Keith Price from overthinking the game.
I think that it minimizes the analysis piece of the game for myself as the play caller, for Keith at quarterback, and just allows us to go with our gut, our instincts, and play the game. We have a saying, we never want paralysis by analysis, and I think that by going to the up-tempo, it really minimizes that. Again, not just for Keith, but for myself and for other players. They don't have time to worry about the last play, good, bad, or indifferent. They have to focus on the next one because it comes so quickly.
As for Keith Price, the no-huddle is tailor-made for his playmaking skills.
Oh, I love it. I love it. When things aren't there, I'm able to utilize my legs a lot. We have a lot of zone read where I have an option to keep the ball. So I think it tailors my playing style. Well, I've been working a lot on my legs in the off season, and that's always been a big part of my game is improvising and able to make plays when the pocket breaks down. And I think we've been doing a good job of that this camp.
Price has the advantage of playing with some familiar faces in 2013. There are 9 starters returning on offense, including leading rusher Bishop Sankey and Price's favorite receivers, Casey Williams and Austin Safarian-Jenkins, arguably the best receiving duo in the Pac-12.
I've been playing with them for a couple years now, and now our trust is just growing and growing. I mean, it's fun. It's fun just having guys that even if it's not a perfect ball, they'll go up and get it for you, and kind of make you look good. So, it's an honor to play with those guys.
Another big addition to the offense this season is the return of a familiar face. In 2001, Marcus Tuiasosopo led the Huskies to a Rose Bowl victory over Drew Brees and the Purdue Boilermakers. The Huskies haven't been back to Pasadena since. Now, as the Huskies' new quarterbacks coach, Marcus hopes to help the Dogs regain their long-lost prominence.
No, we haven't been back to the Rose Bowl since we went, and that's when I came back. I'm excited to help us be part of one of the pieces of the puzzle to get us back there.
His main focus is getting Keith Price to forget about the past. After a sensational sophomore season, Price struggled at times last year. His numbers were significantly lower as a junior.
First and foremost, you got to put it in the past. We had a chance to talk, and we watched the film, and we talked about what we thought he needed to improve on. We took what Coach Sark wanted him to improve on, and we've been focusing on those issues all off season. He's done a great job. He's hungry, and he wants to finish his career with a win in a bowl game, bringing the Husky football back to where it belongs.
And one thing Steve Sarkisian said, there was last year there was a lot of paralysis by analysis. He didn't like having the extra time to sit there and second guess himself as well as Keith Price. So they're just going to go right at him and not take a lot of time between plays and no huddle. Here you go.
No, I think so. I think Keith Price is the absolute catalyst to this offense, to this team, to the success of the Huskies this season. You look at last year, he did take a step back. He heard footsteps when they weren't there at times. And the thing that hurt the Huskies last year and hurt Keith Price was having those just uncostly, untimely penalties, as well as those interceptions, the fumbles. I mean, without those, you're looking at an 8 or 9 win team last year. So Keith Price is the key to the Washington Huskies' success this year.
What other keys to this game do you see?
You know, looking at the Washington Huskies, they have to be up-tempo. They have to come out here and change some things up that they did in the bowl game because they know each other. This is the second time they played each other in a row. The defense has to grow up. The defensive line, we got to see who's going to step up on those ends. See what happens with that defense on the back end. You lose a Desmond Trufant. Those are things that you got to find out on that first game when the rubber meets the road.
Is there one player maybe that we just aren't prepared to see play great today that maybe people have had underneath the radar?
I think so. I think you look at a guy like Corey Littleton. He's a guy that came out, beat Josh Shirley out in camp. He's a defensive end. He's a guy about 6'3", about 230 pounds, got a great motor, works his tail off. He's a guy that can come out and hopefully get to that quarterback, even on those quick drops that Boise State does.
And receiver John Ross is a guy that they also talk about. They compare him a lot to DeAnthony Thomas, and he's a freshman. Who knows what he can do on
Wow,
returns.
I tell you what, that's pretty good company down there with DeAnthony Thomas. The Ross freshman, he's a guy that can come out. He has the speed. He can come around and make big plays. That's the easiest transition for a high school kid to come into college is the speed.
You have to like the stable of running backs because a lot of them are healthy. Deontay Cooper is going to be a special story. He gets that first carry. Jesse Collier is back from an ACL. And, of course, you have Bishop Sankey, who ran for 205 yards against these guys in Las Vegas.
Exactly. The backfield of the Washington Huskies is where it needs to be. For the first time in a long time, these guys have stable of running backs that can go out there and play. You got a Bishop Sankey, 14-plus 100 yards last year. That's huge. Offensive line's getting better. You got everybody healthy up there. That's what's going to make this running game tick is that offensive line and then a play-action pass from Keith Price. That's what makes a good running game.
Well, hopefully coming up, we're going to talk to Greg Lewis. You remember him, right?
Oh,
1990
yeah.
Doak Walker Award. Yeah, how about that one? One of the best
Stud.
Husky running backs of all time. We'll also take a look at this Husky defense a little more in depth when Retake Montlake returns. They called him Hurrying Hugh, the king of Montlake, and he's considered one of the greatest players to ever wear purple and gold. Hugh McElhaney dominated Husky Stadium in the early 1950s, including a game in 1950 that is still the greatest in Husky history. McElhaney ran for 296 yards against Washington State. And welcome back to the Husky pregame show, and thanks to our sponsors, including Xfinity, the future of awesome. And I think they said that quote when Jordan Reffett showed up here on Montlake. They said, they saw him, they said, the future of awesome.
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 That was
That's
Nick
my
Holt
word.
words.
That's the future. That's right. I love it.
Hey, did you ever get hurt when you were playing here?
Oh yeah, Bingsham. Nothing big. I was very lucky to not have any type of big time shoulder, knee surgeries. I was always banging up an ankle here and there. Nothing big.
Well, part of this big rebuild is obviously taking care of the student athlete, especially the football players. And Aaron, you have a look at something that's pretty amazing. When you consider what they used to have underneath the stands on the press box side, it used to just be a hill of dirt, right?
Yeah, a hill of dirt, and we used to be banged up and down underneath just by heck ed and kind of going through the motions there. But now you got to see this thing. It's a top notch. It's 30,000 square feet. You know, the UW has always been a leader in sports medicine, and I think they're doing it right with all the latest technology and advancements they have there. So let's check it out and take a look what they've built. It's a sure thing in football. Hard hits will lead to sprains, strains, and overall pain. And the doctor who treats this team,
we're going to take a look at the tendons that pull your wrist,
can be your doctor too.
the other side of the elbow as well. This side of the elbow. The average age of my patient is actually 49 years old, and so they're trying to get back to running or golf or tennis or whatever, and something stripped them up, and so that's what we do here, is get people back to active life.
The center has been in the plans since the early stages of stadium design and construction. The university saw an opportunity to match Division I sports with its medical school.
Sports medicine is practiced across all of UW Medicine. At the medical center here, Harborview, the East Side, Roosevelt. So we have a lot of locations.
You said you have a little shoulder pain on this?
But to take this and make a new, coordinated, one-stop shopping location was really too good of an opportunity to pass up.
I'll put a little gel on here.
The clinic is huge, with 40 exam rooms combining a variety of disciplines, including family practice, orthopedic surgery, and rehabilitation.
We all have a little bit different take on how we work with patients and patient care in general. And then we have radiologists right down the hall as well. So having this multidisciplinary group coming together in this one center just makes it easy for the patients and the doctors together.
Aaron, that's a pretty amazing place down there, and the student athletes, they don't have to look far. If something's wrong, right down the hall, right?
Yeah, and it's 5 times bigger than the size of the old one at a cost of only $11 million, but you know, it's definitely worth it. And the cool thing about it is it's going to be open to the public on September 9th, so it's not just for the student athletes. The sports medicine clinic is going to be open to everyone, so you're going to be able to get it one-stop shopping there, and heck, you may see some student athletes or some Seahawks or people who else get treated there as well.
Big problem for a lot of us. Well, not you guys, but people in their 40s and 50s, you start losing some elbow power and knee stuff, you need to get those things checked out. Why not come over to Montlake and get
great
away?
place. How fun would it be? You get to run into some student athletes, get the greatest care in the world, and one of the best facilities in the world. Can't beat that.
Pretty cool. Well, you were a defender when
Yes.
I played some for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know a lot about defense, and the defense is going to have some challenges this year in this conference. And let's take a look at this year's Husky D. The 2013 Husky defense has the luxury of 7 returning starters. It's a defense that ranked 4th in points allowed in the Pac-12 last season. But defensive coordinator Justin Wilcox is quick to point out that having a pack of returning starters is not as important as it used to be.
And in this day and age with the up-tempo offenses, the term starter doesn't mean as much as it might have used to back in the day when teams ran 50 or 60 offensive plays. Now when they run 75 or 85, you need to play 16, 17, 18 guys a game on defense to be able to keep everybody fresh.
Fortunately for the Huskies, there is ample depth on defense.
The linebacker core has got some returning players who made a lot of plays for us and I think are going to continue to get better. They're still young guys relatively, but have done a good job, and we have a little more depth there. At the defensive front, Danny Shelton coming back is big for us. He's a nose guard and can do some good things.
The strength of the Husky defense is its linebacking core, anchored by Shaq Thompson. He's been getting some preseason attention as a potential All-American. Is the praise a blessing or a curse for the sophomore?
I really don't let it get to my head. I kind of brush that off to the side. That's other people's opinion. It's not my opinion. You know, it's a team sport. It's not just one person. It's 11 guys on the field, 11 brothers. You know, you guys all got to come together, and that's what we do this year. We're all coming together as leadership from the D-line all the way to the secondary, and we're just becoming a team.
One cause for concern may be the secondary, which was second best in the Pac-12 last year, but 2 starters from that unit are gone.
Oh, that's huge, you know, we lost 2 guys, one to the NFL.
Senior strong safety Sean Parker knows it's time to step up and be a leader in this revamped secondary.
And it's my job as a leader to keep the defense rolling and to keep everybody on the same page.
One advantage the defense will have this year is more experience against the no-huddle. Since the Husky offense is using it, the defense will have more exposure to up-tempo play in practice.
It's a big turnaround, usually because, we're used to playing teams that slowed it down, and made it easier for us. But now, more and more teams like Oregon, us, Arizona run tempo offense. It just forces us to be that much more detail-oriented and faster with the calls and communicating with each other.
3rd down and 3, in overtime. There's a pump by Toole, throws, it's caught.
As the new season unfolds, the disastrous close to last year still remains on the minds of returning players. Blown leads against Washington State in the Apple Cup and Boise State in the Mako Bowl have left an indelible mark. The team is using that as motivation to be stronger as a team in 2013.
Oh, most definitely. That's the motivation to us. Last 2 games are still going through our heads. We got to come out and play every game like it's our first game. We got Boise State coming up. We got to play them to our level and not their level. That's how we got to go through the season and play every game.
And Jordan, talking to Sean Parker this week, he said one big thing against Boise State is that you have to watch their eyes. They're one of the most deceptive teams out there, and they love to run the trick play. What other keys for the defense today?
Well, I think there's some huge keys coming into this first game. I think you look at the depth at the linebacker spot. I think it's the first time in the last 5 to 10 years that you have a defense where the depth at linebacker, you're not having to put in these freshman guys. You're not having to put in these young guys. You have some of the best linebackers in the Pac-12 on this Husky team. You're able to redshirt some young guys. Some of the other keys we look at, you look at the back end. Okay, you lose one of the most prolific defensive backs, cornerbacks, this Washington team has ever had in Desmond Trufant. You lose a guy like that in the back half, you're going to have to replace him somehow. You talk about Sean Parker. Now it's time to step up. He needs to be the leader this year because there's going to be so many teams that are going to be going after those new corners out there in that back half. Up front, where I know, playing defensive line, that's where everything starts, that's where everything finishes. Up front, that defensive line, you have a little bit of depth, but you had a guy, Andre Hudson, that came over, starts on the defensive line. That tells me there's some problems on the defensive line when you have one guy from offense come over as an immediate starter. So this defensive line needs to step up and grow throughout the season if the defense is going to continue to get better, because they made some huge leap and bounds under Coach Wilcox, and I think they need to do that this year as well.
And Evan Hudson may also see some snaps on offense as well, so he might be going both ways.
Might be a heck of an athlete. I tell you what, that's pretty cool.
And they played Austin a little bit at the end last year too, so
that's
moving
right.
the tight end over isn't anything new.
Well, and I think being with Coach Wilcox and Coach Sark being open to the things of letting guys get out there and play, let your athletes go out there and do what they do. I think that's huge to have that. If you're going to be a pass rusher, get out there and get after that quarterback and put out anybody out there who's going to put pressure on them. Let's do it.
Well, this is a program rich in history, and a big part of that history was legendary head coach Don James. You know what? The coach is going to join us. We take a break right here. When Retake Montlake continues, the dog father joins us. Welcome back as we retake Montlake here at the brand new Husky Stadium, and joining us now the legendary head coach Don James. Coach, thanks for coming by.
Happy to be here. My home's right over there.
That's right.
Well, that is definitely something that remained a big part of the stadium rebuild, the Don James Center. Pretty cool to come to your spot here. I guess you've been in here for a few practices already, but your initial impressions of this wonderful place.
You know, it's interesting. I sat on the committee for over 5 years, and a couple of different ADs and head coaches, and to see the end product, it's far superior to anything I ever dreamed we would get.
The track is gone. You and I have spoken about that in the past, and that was something that you realized back in the late 70s wasn't a great idea for the stadium.
Well, you know, we go and play Oregon State, Washington State, and the fans they're breathing down your back and screaming at you. But this was not a friendly stadium. It was a beautiful stadium, but I think lowering the field, bringing the fans closer really helped.
How much of a factor is the home field in college football where you only have those 12 Saturdays and half the games here? How much of a factor is it, and how much of a role will this crowd play?
It's pretty big because you have the crowd and you don't have to travel. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
it's okay once in a while to jump out on a plane and, you know, fly someplace, but then you're in hostile territory every time you go, and people are out to get your hide. And so there's a definite advantage of being at home.
When you look at this place and the view in your time, and I know you still follow college football very closely, is there a better place? Is there a better backdrop for college football?
Well, the things that I look for when we travel with the team is what's the locker room like, and most of the locker rooms were terrible in our league. And
yes, they were.
So you can attest to that. But you know, the fields are fields, and we had a good surface here. I think they were wise to get AstroTurf, artificial surface. With the rain, we didn't have the Dempsey Center when I was here. It'd been nice to go inside a few of those days that we practiced, but we survived.
Are you blown away by what this team has now from the coaches' offices that sit to our left and everything that's below the west stands?
Oh, the west end is incredible. You know, think in terms of top to bottom or bottom up. First of all, I didn't know there was that much room in there, but then they have the weight room and the locker room, the training room, and then the meeting rooms. And then the coaches have got meeting rooms for players down there, but they've also got their offices up here. And Sark's got a fireplace. So I didn't know bad.
A fireplace. Look at that, Coach.
And I guess the question for Jordan as Coach, how would you sell this to a young man like a young Jordan Refford back when he was being recruited?
Well, number one,
what would you say to
Coach
a guy?
wouldn't have to sell it to me. I'd have been here in a heartbeat. I was already here. I told them all go away. I'm going to with Coach James.
Well, that's basically the school now will really help sell itself. But we sold win, play early in your career, and get on TV and bowl games. So those are things that, you know, plus a great education.
You've been on the sidelines. You've seen what this team has. Where do you see them? How well do you think they'll do this year on your short analysis?
Well, I've heard Sark speak 3 times, and he feels like this is his best team. And I don't know the players. I've met a lot of them, and I've coached, you know, Williams' father, and but I just think that they've stronger team. The key issue, as we all know, is Price. 2 years ago, he was a great quarterback. Last year was very average, and he's got 2 bad knees. So as a coach, how do you get a guy ready to play that's got 2 bad knees?
Yep.
And are you better off to beat on him and have him get hurt again, or have him ready for game day? And I think they've solved that problem now.
I know in baseball the leadoff hitter is so important because they set the tone right away, first inning. What does the first game on the schedule mean to a coach in the program of the season?
Well, hopefully it's a game you can win. I mean, you know, Mike Lute and I, Mike did a lot of our scheduling and coached a lot of us done before I got here even, but I get a team that you're going to be pretty heavily favored, a named team and a, quote, a big name team, and have one real challenge like a Nebraska or someone like that.
Well, Coach, I hope you enjoy the game tonight. I know you got a good seat over in your center. And we certainly look forward to a good Husky season ahead.
Thank you. We look forward to it.
So much for your
nice
time.
to see you guys.
Good seeing you.
Good luck to you.
Awesome to see you, Coach.
As always. Now, there's lots of different ways to come to a game, but one way many folks are enjoying and maybe considering it as a reunion is by boat. You know, those fans that show up hours before the game, set up their barbecues, chairs, and tables, and tailgating is a tradition found all over the country. Only a few teams can boast that they have their own Navy. For the first time in 2 years, those seagoing dog fans, well, they're going to get a motor up to the stadium as they have done for decades. Take a live look now at the Husky Navy anchored offshore. I was told unofficially about 330 boats out there coming to today's game. They're in full party mode before making their way into the stadium. Plus, while we're talking about that end, take a look at the zone. This is the Husky practice field turned into a party area open to everyone before the home games, so check that out when you come to all these games here. Well, in only a few minutes from now, there's going to be a live ceremony on the field paying tribute to the hundreds of construction workers that helped build this place here on Montlake. From tear down to rebuild took less than 2 years. That's a monumental undertaking of coordination between many different companies that had a hand in making tonight possible. Pretty amazing. They called him Hurrying Hugh, the king of Montlake, and he's considered one of the greatest players to ever wear purple and gold. Hugh McElhaney dominated Husky Stadium in the early 1950s, including a game in 1950 that is still the greatest in Husky history. McElhaney ran for 296 yards against Washington State. And welcome back as we retake Montlake. You know, one local company that has been here from the start has been Wright Runstad. So I'm going to read some of these information here. They awarded the bid for Husky Stadium. They managed the project from day one to turn over the keys 3 weeks ago. And also their main builder, partner, Turner Construction, right? That's right. So that's what we have folks from those companies joining us here. Project manager, Chris Broadgate. He's a Husky. We know that for sure. Tara Howard from Wright Runstad. Did you go to UW as well?
I did a 1-year commercial real estate program, so we'll fake it and pretend.
Good enough.
We'll say
Good
yes.
enough.
We'll
and,
say yes.
And Chuck Baldwin from Turner Construction. How about you? Are you a Husky alum?
Now I'm a Husky.
There we go. Well, you put enough into it, so I think that's good enough. You guys have definitely earned the W. Chris, we'll start with you. What was it like working on a project for your school?
Absolutely amazing. It's been the best experience, and we've had the best team and so many dedicated people. It's just been an outstanding experience. Not every day you get to build the dog's house.
We did a story this week where you called it a legacy project. How often in the construction industry do you get to work on something as enormous? But we're talking 93 years since the last time the other one was built. I mean, this is going to last a long time, right?
It is outstanding, and it was amazing today to see everybody queuing up outside, waiting for their first peak to come in, watching them all stream in, and the excitement on everyone's faces. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
So 21 months about in construction. Chuck, is that normal time to get something this enormous done?
No, that's a fast track for sure. Very demanding schedule.
For each of you, a question each. What are you most proud of for this project?
Really just the whole thing, how it was put together, and the finishing touch is the personality.
Tar?
The amazing teamwork that went into this project. It took a tremendous effort from University of Washington to all of the construction and design team members. It's been exciting.
How about you, Chuck?
Pretty much the same thing. The pride that all the people who were involved can take coming tonight and sharing in the excitement.
What is this like for you guys though, to sit here? I mean, those cold, rainy days when things are falling and you're walking around, and we know what a big mud bowl that was to begin with after they knocked things out. What is it like to sit here in this finished product today on this glorious day with sunshine, this opener against Boise State? I mean, are you just giddy? Do you get chills up your spine? Are you just tired? Do you want to go home and go to bed? What's going on?
A little of both, really. But there are a lot of people who put a lot of hours into getting this place ready over the last 21 months and especially the last couple weeks. And it's an amazing feeling right now.
Sorry?
It's been an amazing fight to the finish, and it's exciting to have made it.
Chuck, you look like you're ready to go to Hawaii.
Practically. Well, they say I'm married to my job. Well, tonight it's a boy.
That's right.
That's great job, you guys. Terrific job. Fantastic. Tara, pleasure to meet you. Great work. Chuck, way to go. Got to shake those hands. These people are amazing. They're heroes of this project here on Montlake. More as we retake Montlake coming up. The year was 1975, and a Husky team with first-year coach Don James trails Washington State by 13 in the fourth quarter. Then came the improbable. First, Al Burleson intercepted a Cougar pass, scoring on a record return. Then, with less than 2 minutes to play, Warren Moon lofted a wobbly pass that somehow landed in Spider Gaines' hands. The result was a 28-27 Apple Cup victory in Husky Stadium. And welcome back to the new Husky Stadium, and lots of seating options as we've talked about with this rebuild, and for the first time, premium seating. And I'm guessing they're not way way up there where the media sits.
Yeah, they're not the nosebleeds. There's really not a bad seat in the house. It looks pretty good. We have several options, and I think this is the best seating situation we've got going on in the Pac-12. I've been to a lot of Pac-12 stadiums, and pretty much all of them over the last couple of years. You've got Autzen that had a little bit of a facelift, but it's old and it's nice and cozy. Stanford's pretty nice, but not as cool as here. We got the lake. We have the suites going on. You can tailgate right up on the boats. Now there's something for everyone, and you're going to want to check it out. Every price level here. Let's take a look at what we checked out earlier. There's not a bad seat at Husky Stadium. In fact, you've landed in one of the luxury suites. There's 27 of them, and the best part about this is they have these new comfy, cozy leather chairs. Each luxury suite is 500 square feet with all the great amenities, including food and beverage services, comfortable seating, and flat screen TVs. There are 12 leather chairs that sit down low, along with 6 bar stools to catch all the game time action. And besides the amazing view of the field, each suite has spectacular views of Lake Washington and the Cascade Mountains. Now, if you like the lake view, you definitely want to check out the outdoor patio suites. It's one level below the luxury suites. It seats 4 to 6 people right here, and all the game time action. It gets you direct access as well to Club Husky. This stylish indoor lounge has everything: food, drinks, and tons of flat screen televisions to keep you all up to speed and connected with big plays on the field. All right, if you want to get in on all the scoring action, this is the place to be. The Touchdowns Terrace, covered seating. It has all the amenities of the suites. It's at the east end zone where all the touchdowns happen, and you can practically touch the players.
Hey, thanks a lot, Aaron. Those things are pretty cool. We'll be right back. November 12th, 1977, in upstart Washington meets nationally ranked USC. It is Warren Moon's day in the spotlight. Not only did he throw 2 TD passes to Spider Gaines, but he ran 71 yards through pouring rain to seal a 28-10 victory in Husky Stadium. And welcome back to the Husky pregame show, and thanks again to our sponsors, including Xfinity, the future of awesome. And maybe that's what we can be talking about this Husky season ahead, the future of awesome. It's all there, ready for the take. And what is going through some of these guys' minds right now, because this place is getting packed. They're running around out there going through the pregame warm-ups. They're ready to roll.
No, I remember my first time at Husky Stadium, coming out as a freshman, looking up at that South Tower, looking up there, wondering how the heck do all those people come out to watch us play football, and getting those jitters out. Once you get your bell rung a little bit, those jitters go away and you're ready to rock and roll. But I tell you what, they're just looking around, soaking it all in, getting ready, and they better show out today. I want to see some big plays from those guys out there.
Aaron, I know in our jobs and what we do, we are always close to the tunnel for those shots of the players coming out. Sometimes I always felt like just kind of jumping in line and running out with them. I mean, it's that type of energy in this place.
Would have been easy to do, but you might have only made it a few steps, right? Gotten out of breath. They're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, they are. Plus, if I got hit, I would be totally done. Someone like you, crushing me?
Bad.
That would be
You're
bad.
a pretty big guy, though. You played a little ball in your days, right?
No.
No?
No, I was skinny. I was skinny. Not like you.
Shoot.
Big, beefy guy trying to crush me.
No, that's okay. Well, that's what I used to crush people for a living. That's what I do.
You did, and now you have girls.
Now I have, all my little girls.
Now you just give the hugs, right? The big bear
Yeah,
hugs.
I'm just like a teddy bear now.
Very cool.
Soften me up.
Okay, today's game. Let's talk about today's game.
Let's talk about it.
Today's game. The Boise State Broncos, another good season. They're pretty good in nationally televised games. Your thoughts on them coming in here? And I watched the guys on ESPN this morning. 3 of the 4 said, no way do you beat this energy in this building and beat the Huskies today. Chris Fowler wasn't sold on it, but can this team come in here and make it a tight game?
I think it'd be a tight game. Let's remember Boise State, give them the respect that they deserve. They came out, they've won 10 or 11 games the last 7 years. Coach Peterson is a phenomenal coach over there at Boise State. They play well in big games. They do. But I think the Huskies here today, I think it's going to be a double-digit victory for the Dogs.
When you look at the season, how important is it, though, we talked to Coach James about it, to start the season off on the right foot? If a lot of things kind of go south.
Today is a must-win. No, I'm not kidding. This is a must-win. You have to get this football game. This is the opening of the new Husky Stadium, one of the premier stadiums in the world, not just the country, not just in college football. You have to win this game. You have to start out this season the right way.
Do you think these guys even know what's possible when you look at the crowd factor? Because this was a noisy place that used to rock when the track was there. Now you can barely, you know, stretch yourself out 2 or 3 people before you're to the stands now. I mean, how much of a factor is the crowd going to be tonight?
Now it's finally even things out here at Husky Stadium. We go down to Autzen or we go down to Pullman, you'd have those darn guys right behind you throwing, you know, dog doo-doo on you or throwing batteries at you in Autzen. Oh yeah, they love that stuff. Now, finally at Husky Stadium, that track's out of there. The fans are right on top of them. More of a home field advantage, and this place is gonna rock. I mean, it was so loud back when I played. I think it's gonna be even louder now.
And not only does it set the tone for the season if you come out of this with a victory, but it also sets the tone for every team that gets ready to come take a visit to this stadium this year, like in Oregon in October, to know, hey, you got a 12th man type of concept going on here as well.
Oh yeah, well it's huge too, and you talk about the 12th man. This Husky Stadium is one of the most well-revered. I played in the NFL. I played with guys from all over the country, okay? Everybody knows about Husky Stadium. Everybody knows about All I Saw Was Purple, or those guys at Stanford talking about on how loud it was here. You talk about a 747 going over your head, shaking your house. Everyone knows about Husky Stadium, and it's only been stepped up a notch, I believe, and I think it's going to be even better moving forward as a home field advantage.
We're going to take a quick timeout. We come back, we're going to get caught up on some of the festivities taking place on field as Retake Montlake continues. In 1968, Husky Stadium became the first college facility in the country to go grassless. You see, there was a new product called AstroTurf, and it revolutionized sports. It also meant no more mud and grass stains on those purple and gold uniforms. And Jordan, take a look at how your Huskies are going to play this season and the schedule, how it plays out right now. Of course, our opener against Boise State. They got a week off, and then they got to hit the road for the first time in a tough place in Chicago against Illinois with a tremendous fan base there in the Chicago area. It's not going to be an easy game on the road.
No, and anytime you go on the road for the first time during that season, I think you got to get the jitters out. You go on the road, you're going to be a sea of orange over there in Illinois. They got a lot of guys coming back. They're a Big Ten football team. It's one of those games that you got to have on the road. You got to start winning on the road. You want to be a championship team, you got to win on the road.
They come back home, you have Idaho State, and as we see always in this first week of the season, North Dakota State last night, what they did to Kansas State, you cannot take any team lightly.
Well, no, and actually you watch Utah and Utah State. That Utah State team's a tough team. Never take a team lightly. We saw Eastern Washington come in here a couple years back and put it to the Dogs. Almost got out of here with the win. So you never take a team too lightly.
How about the Pac-12 schedule, where you start really getting heavy into play with Arizona? Then you have a tough month of October at the beginning with Stanford and Oregon. Those are 2 doozies back-to-back.
Yeah, 2 doozies back-to-back, but Stanford's on the road. Getting Stanford on the road is almost like going to a violin concert, because playing at Stanford, it's real quiet. It's not really that big a deal, but playing Oregon at home is huge this year. And then getting that win at Arizona. We've had some debacles against Arizona the last couple of years. We got to come out and play well against those guys.
Hey, Jordan, let's take a quick look down to the field right now. That Husky players getting introduced, and this is a pretty special time, and a lot of these guys will be able to say, you know what, I played in the very first game in that Husky Stadium.
Inaugural game at Husky Stadium. I think that's pretty cool.
How special are these? Are these kind of run-of-the-mill moments for a lot of players, or are these something that you savor hearing your name called out?
Yeah. Well, one of these things, too, is you'll never forget playing in this stadium, having these guys and these fans behind you, understanding that you'll never be like this again. This is the first time, the only time, and you're a part of history.
When you're a part of this team and you're a part of the tradition, it's something special. You know you have former Huskies in the stands watching you play. Does that factor in at all, how you play? Like, I can't go out and embarrass the W.
No, absolutely. It means something to wear that W on your helmet. It means something to go out there and have that gold helmet, that purple W. It means a whole heck of a lot. You're standing on shoulders of the men that built this stadium, that built this program to what it is today, and that does mean a lot. And these young guys need to know that when they're going out there every day.
All right, well, you know, it's pretty amazing. We've talked about all the perks of this wonderful stadium, from the luxury suites to the new bathrooms and elevators, you name it. But technologically, this is by far one of the top stadiums in the country as far as what it offers with televisions and video and digital, you name it. Como TV's Matt Markovich takes a look at everything digital and everything awesome about this stadium.
Thanks, Mike. This is now the highest tech intercollegiate college football stadium in America. So what makes it so high tech? Let's take a look.
There is no stadium in the country that can boast to have more than Husky Stadium.
There's kind of technology around every corner.
And of course, the scoreboard. 100 feet across, 2,500 pixels, basically double the aspect ratio of your HD set at home.
So that board is basically more than double the size of the old, as they call it, Huskytron.
And you could do one more cool thing with it.
Coach Sark was right. It may be one of the best recruiting tools ever. From his office on the far west end of the stadium, a player, a coach, anyone can play Xbox on the big stadium screen, or any of the 700 digital displays scattered throughout the stadium for that matter.
How is this possible? Well, it's a technology called IPTV, Internet Protocol Television, where one person can control what happens on every screen and make each one different. And the person that's sitting at this station here controls everything seen in the stadium. You've got the banners, the sideline scores, the big screen, everything around the concession stands, all controlled by one person here with one touch of a button.
I can control every screen.
Carolyn Koch is one of those with all that power at her fingertips. Take this concession stand, for example.
So you can control this individual screen we're looking at right here.
Right now, in the bottom left, you can see Coke, but I can go ahead and play the Starbucks one just by clicking here. We have a system of triggers. I hit fire selected triggers, and it will change.
The Coke ad changed to Starbucks just on that one screen. Carolyn can change up menu boards depending on the concession location, and it's interactive.
And you can see it changes, and this menu is a completely different look. It's Husky themed. Across the bottom, we have student images that they submitted via Twitter that rotate through. So we just wanted to make each concession fun and unique to itself.
So if the Huskies score a touchdown, you can basically put up their free hot dogs after every touchdown.
Yeah, definitely.
You think you'll
I like
do
that plan.
Yeah.
Throws over the middle to the end zone, touchdown!
And what's displayed at the luxury boxes or on the scoreboard can be completely different in the concourses.
We can now use digital displays as menu boards. We can use them to show the game. We can kind of change that up midstream if we get to an important part of the game. There's all kinds of flexibility we have there.
And wherever you are, you won't miss the big play.
So whenever the Huskies get in the red zone, these TVs will switch to what's happening on the field automatically.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's exciting.
On game day, the digital experience runs from a control room inside neighboring Heck Ed.
We'll have a crew of more than 20 every game. We have a control room controlling 5 cameras around the stadium, 2 replay operators, graphics.
So compared to the old Husky Stadium, Mike, this is a terrific place to watch football with some new technology. Back to you.
So Jordan, can you imagine being recruited by a coach? He says, hey, come on in my office, and you sit there and then you're going to play Xbox on the gigantic video board on the other end of the stadium against that coach? That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
No, that's pretty cool. I know that I think we were playing Nintendo back when I played. I don't know if they had that
64?
type of stuff. 64 maybe. No, but having the stuff now with the arms race as it is in the Pac-12 with those guys down south, I think it's huge to have that. And we've always had the best atmosphere in college football. I think it just keeps getting better and better. Having the facilities is one thing, but I think this year we're going to have the guys on the field, the Jimmies and the Joes on the field to make a difference, get those W's.
Aaron, you saw these suites up close. 700 HD TVs spread throughout the stadium and 3 in each suite. You can't miss a trick if you're in one of those places.
Yeah, you really don't. And the thing is you go to the bathroom and there is a flat screen in the bathroom. So you're not really missing any game time action because everywhere you go, the Huskies have got you set up. And I think that's what's great about it. I mean, when I came here, there was none of that. And I still loved this place. I was a total dog at heart. When I came in, I fell in love with it, the purple and the gold and everything that they had to offer. But now this is just a huge plus.
And it's pretty cool that no matter where you are, if they're in the red zone, all the TVs go to that. You don't miss any of the action. Let's take a look at some of the festivities taking place on field. We're getting ready for all the pre-game festivities to continue. God Bless America coming up here shortly. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, led on the field by drum majors Mitchell Dumais and John Aguilar. The University of Washington Department of Intercollegiate Athletics proudly presents the Husky Varsity Alumni Band. Husky fans, sing along to Bow Down to Washington.
getting closer to kickoff here at the new Husky Stadium at 7:06. God Bless America, the national anthem. Moments that will kind of give you shivers up your back as we continue here in Retake Montlake.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and under the direction of Dr. Brad McDavid, proudly join the varsity alumni band and the UW class of 63 alumnus, Mr. Melvin Pohl, in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly serene, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
This project started with a vision. A vision that was based on what Husky Stadium has meant to this community, meant to this university, and meant to this football program. That vision focused on what a revitalized Husky Stadium could be. Continue to provide the backdrop for so many exciting memories and stories. A team of more than 1,000 Trailblazers ultimately provide here to work with tremendous success. Those workers' tireless commitment to turn their vision into this reality was a result of teamwork that was anything seen on this football field. UW Athletics wishes to thank the American talents that turn vision into art. As coaches tell their teams, it is all about the finish. Those who remade our icon gave the renovation of Husky Stadium an unparalleled finish. Thank you. Go Huskies.
And those are some of the wonderful people that helped build this amazing stadium. Congrats to them. More when we return.